Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 2, The Shadow and the Blade, where things are about to get a lot more complicated. So, we have this war with Bordello going on. We also have war happening with the Empire, which is not ideal. Definitely not ideal. And the Waterfall Palace has just declared war on us as well, which means we're about to be totally awash in terrifying tree spirits. I'm not really sure what the best solution is here. I mean, obviously, we have to wrap up the battle with Bordello as quickly as we can. We cannot be fighting on two different fronts. We just don't have the armies for it. So, Musallam is pretty far and out of the way. Oh, look at this. Lyonesse is held by the Wild Walker, or the World Walkers, that Norscan faction from up north. Apparently things have not been going super smoothly. Bretonnia, the main Bretonnian faction, is still in control of the main Bretonnian province, but yeah, the situation's complicated for everybody, is the good news, if you can call it that. So here's what I'm thinking. We take Bordello, and then the Bordello, the faction, will have to know that they can't beat us at that point, right? They've lost their entire economic base. Musallam is fine as a settlement, but it's just a single minor settlement that they own. They have no ability to put together real new armies. They'll probably take a peace treaty at that point, and then we can turn around. My concern with trying to finish them off is that Musallam is another 2 turns walk away, and that's 2 turns in both directions, probably. I just don't think we have time. I think the forest spirits from the Waterfall Palace will be at our gates by then. So we take out Bordello, and then we move east, and maybe we take Paravon. I noticed that Montfort has been burned down. Probably this is the doing of the Bray herd that we knew spawned up here. So the dwarves might not be able to retaliate. I know I'm talking about, hey, let's just go to war with everyone in the area, but, like, maybe that's the right solution, right? Yeah, alright. Let's do this thing. First of all, you turn around and try to get some XP off of this dude. Look at that, north of 50%. Okay, a failed assassination, but still, most of the way toward the next level. And then Bordello has a small garrison. This should be pretty easy. Who do we want to be the one who commits to this battle? I think maybe Vomik? Ikit army is a little bit better overall, I think, even with all the new regiments of renown. So yeah, let's have Vomik be the one who actually commits the attack here, so that he's the one who's stuck in Bordello for a turn, and Ikit can start back in the other direction. Just go into siege mode. I will be there presently.
Where are my schematics?
I want to do this with as little movement as possible because we really want to be able to run back in the other direction. Okay, I think he's inside that. Yeah, he is close enough to the circle to participate in the battle. Let's just go ahead and burn this down. These tiny garrison battles, we've seen them. We know how this is going to go. That's probably more losses than I would have sustained manually. And, ooh, part of me wants to sack this place for 15,000 gold and then just reclaim it next turn. That's a lot of money. And we're going to get 7,000 just looting and occupying. You know, we don't have time to mess around with this. We got to get this done because we got to turn people around. Alright, men on Beast Spitter falls. Let's get back in position here. Hold on, that was a follower that affects weapons teams. Can we... let's see, what would I want to unequip? Maybe the War Banner? Artifact Hunter is not useful. Okay, we cannot equip that weapons team follower on our Lord. I bet that is a follower for Warlock Engineers. Yep, there we go. Engineering student. Get in there. We got some weapons teams in this army now. Okay, so Ikit needs to full march back in the other direction. And we need to talk to Bretonnia. Or Bordello. There's so many different Bretonnians. That's really annoying. Okay, this is still the right move. Ikit still goes back to the other front. And Vomik might have to push on and finish the war by himself. I'd really like it if he could just turn around. But we gotta wrap this Bretonnian conflict quickly because we need to be elsewhere. And you, I think you're turning around as well. It is, in fact, I think, time to start a plague in Athelloren. So we have a huge amount of money. What are we going to do with all of it? Upgrading that as much as we can. Massive Call is, yeah, it's going to take a little while.
Yes, yes.
In here, there's nothing really we can do. Bordello has a unique port. You can see here it generates quite a lot of money and also growth and also bonus tradable resources, which is also more money. And then back home, everything's just solid for the moment, right? Like everybody's just like holding. Tilia is showing red and falling. Okay, Tilia is showing red and falling, but also we have the ability to improve a bell here, so that's not a big deal. And let's also improve this building. This isn't even that expensive. We should probably upgrade ports. Like this big influx of cash, this is a good time to improve our money-making buildings. How are the ports in Estalia? All of the ports in Estalia are maximally upgraded. However, we do have the ability to upgrade this thing, which is worth quite a lot. And then, I mean, we're probably just leaving all these money-making buildings in place because we're in a pretty desperate situation money-wise. So why not go up to a scrap heap here? Oh, hey, that's a shipwreck. I wonder if this is the moment, or maybe like next turn, is the moment to recruit a new army like in Tabaro and start putting together, like I was talking about earlier, just a half stack to play defense. Shoot, where was I? I have already forgotten what I was doing with this guy. Where were we going to set up an Undercity? Oh, we were going to Dark Elf Town, that's right. That's going to be a bit of a trip. May as well, though, right? And then, yeah, we upgrade the scrap heap here as well. Alright, I'm feeling a little nervous about the fact that the Bretonnians were not willing to just give up. Let's have a quick look at the diplomacy thing here. Bordello is showing us actually being more powerful than we are, and they have 2 settlements remaining. Wonder where their other settlement is. Musallam is their current capital. Did they manage to actually take something from the Empire in their rush for conquest? I mean, nothing here is in Bordello colors. Yeah, I don't know. Just real quick, one more search for anybody who might be willing to trade with me. It would be so nice to have more income, because it's going to be that third army is going to have to come eventually, and I would love to have a ton of money when it does. Can we get a... No, I was kind of hoping that our situation would have advanced enough to get a defensive alliance with him, but no such luck. We do have the Confederation option with factions that are the same race type as we are. We can confederate, and that will just draw all of their stuff into my faction. They'll basically just give me all of their settlements and characters and armies and stuff. It's a thing to maybe think about for later. I wouldn't even if you wanted to confederate at this point, I probably wouldn't. Just because we don't want to suddenly be in control of a bunch of garbage on the other side of the world that is probably not very well secured, and we have no idea what to do with. Our situation is complicated enough as it is. So maybe it would not be a good idea to go to war with Paravan.
The big drowning lake.
If we don't go to war with Paravan, no, absolutely not. Why would I do that? If we don't go to war with Paravan, I am a little bit worried about how this whole thing is going to unfold. Like, I don't know how we will affect the Wood Elves. We're going to have a hard time walking over there. If the Wood Elves... Oh, that's bad for us. If the Wood Elves just run through Paravan's territory to get out to us, then they're pretty cut off, and that would be nice, obviously. That means that they're going to have a hard time reinforcing and stuff. But the same is true of us, right? We can't just walk into Athel Loren this way either. We should check in with Veshnar's conquest and see if they're willing to agree to any kind of treaties here. Oh, hey. I forgot all about our chapter objectives. Yeah, we're doing all right on money then. Okay, these guys are... Still, they are very reluctant to give us any positive reputation at all. Let's pay them in addition to this thing. I want to make this happen. We need a non-aggression pact because I need to feel like it's reasonable that I will not be at war with somebody here. It's possible that they just won't do this for any amount of money. The AI is like that sometimes, but I'm willing to... I would go this high. Yeah, okay, I bet they're just not going to do it for any amount of money. Sometimes, even if the AI totally does like you and the situation makes sense for them to give you a certain treaty, and also it would be mutually beneficial, and there's literally no reason not to do it, they just won't because they're shitty like that sometimes. Well, it's interesting that none of his armies have moved forward. Not really sure why that would be the case. Why even bother declaring war on me? Right. It'd be really cool if this guy was not around. We want to try to limit enemy vision of our movement.
You fail, not me.
Fail again, but at least we level up. So even on a level where he doesn't gain any points in assassination relevant skills, his chance to assassinate people does still go up because his level is part of the calculation. We'll just have him spread some additional public order, presumably by murdering dissenters. And if the Wood Elves aren't even moving on us at all, I wonder if we could just turn Ikit Claw around and make this thing happen.
I must keep my holy vow. No.
So Alberic de Bordello is definitely a tough dude. There's no two ways about that.
Secret arts.
I'm actually really torn about what to do here. If we can lure him out into the field and fight him in the field, we could probably beat him. We could also probably beat him in the castle if we bring both of our armies. But I don't really want to bring both of our armies because, again, that's a ton of spatial commitment. Brunel is very far away from having good defensive structures. Yeah, this is bad. We're in limbo. I would have preferred that the elves just moved directly toward us, because at least I would have been certain what to do in that case. We should probably improve the amount of Blackstone Post's income that we are taking. That seems like a good idea. Good thing to do with our money. And then... what about the Undercity over here? Is this pretty developed? Is this as developed as it's getting? Yeah, realistically, we could spend another 3,500 gold here just getting additional discoverability reduction, which might be relevant because when enemy characters are in the area, they increase the discoverability. But I don't know that that's what we want to do with this money right this second. Out here... I probably will do this. We should increase this once. Because I want the improved garrison, but I'm not sure that level 5 is actually better than level 4 on account of what it turns some of your units into. But let's definitely get level 4, and there are not going to be a lot of times where it's easy for us to put together 5,000 extra golds. Let's take advantage while we can. Arsenal's done in 2 turns. We have 7 turns left on our tech that I'm not even super happy about. Alright, all the other stuff is done. Whenever I'm unsure what to do in one location, I like to look everywhere else and see if I can find something obvious. But now we're out of something obvious. Public order here is not great. Do we have enough money to put up a bell this turn? Yeah, we're gonna need a bell. There's no way that Carcassonne holds without a bell. I kind of forgot that we even owned it, to be perfectly honest with you. Yeah, man. If we leave Bordello, they're going to come in behind us and try to retake it. And we're not going... it doesn't have a garrison to stand on its own. I guess... let's try... setting an ambush. Maybe if it looks to them like Bordello is empty, they'll come for it. I'm going to stay nearby. Yeah, that might work. Who knows? Maybe they're dumb enough to fall for that. And then... you know what? Actually, this might be where we want to start building that third army. Even though we don't have access to good recruitment, if they see a small army mustering in Bordello with its 10-unit garrison, that might be enough to draw them out, to try to stop us from building up. And I am going to move Ikit Claw over this way. We're gonna try to be ready for the elves if they decide to make a move. We'll just hope that Erat is up to the task, or not Erat, that Vomik is up to the task of defeating this Bretonnian army by himself. If the Bretonnians lose their army on this side, Musallam will definitely fall to the single stack. So it's just about baiting them into making a mistake. And then actually winning the battle, of course. That's going to be an important part of the plan. Everything kind of falls apart if we don't do that part. Alright, things are developing. We really, really need to win some battles. I need warp fuel. We should definitely upgrade our, I believe one of the upgrades increases the amount, the likelihood that you will get warp fuel from a battle, and we need to make that a high consideration. Also, it's really hard to know how all this is going to unfold because there's so many forces involved and we have no idea what most of them are doing. Tonians are not stupid enough to fall for my ambush. Even just thinking about ambushing has made Vomik so much more effective. There are pirates everywhere, and unfortunately these pirate forces will scoop up those little points of interest in the sea. Crooked Moon have been obliterated. That's not great for me. That was one more little distraction. The best way to do this is probably going to be to stay in the shallows up along the side of the continent and then cross north of Ulthuan. Then I think that Bretonnian hero rode off in this direction. I would like to kill him, if we can. Actually can't find him. Well, I could just go and harass this army. That's fine. We'll have at them next turn. So, Flensing Ruin. We haven't really gotten a lot of use out of Flensing Ruin. We should probably at least give it a try here. Strong damage, minus 30 armor. I mean, 30 is a significant amount of armor to suddenly lose. I think we probably don't want to upgrade Aquitaine first. I know that like it's important to get defensive structures up and everything, but I want Bordello to be able to hold. We could lose Aquitaine and then just come back and get it later. I don't want to lose Bordello. So here we have an army from Baston. Bohemond the Devoted. What might you be doing? Well, you are at war with Vashnar, and also the Barrow Legion. And also you only have the one settlement. I mean, he has a lot of troops in total, and Castle Baston has a 20-unit garrison. But it wouldn't be a super long war if we went to war with them. Like, we should keep an eye out for an opportunity to take Castle Baston, both because it simplifies the area in our favor, and also it would, it's a thing that Vashnar would probably appreciate. Oh yeah, Merciful Call also needs to be getting upgraded.
Where are my schematics?
So I'm not 100% sure here when the moment is. I think we were taking speed last time, right? Do I want Counter-Striker instead? If we're about to be fighting elves, elves are definitely a little bit better at melee combat than a lot of the other forces. Like, the elf elite melee fighters are very elite. I think I actually want to take the melee attack. We might have to have really high attack for him to be able to reliably kill elves. High attack and high defense, ideally. So like I was saying, I'm not sure when the moment in our economic development is to start the next army. Like, every turn after we start the next army is going to be a little bit worse than the turns before. But also, like, we have to do it at some point, right? And we probably don't just want to throw the plague out. We want to use the plague as a preamble to our attack. So we probably want to just kind of hold this guy roughly in this place until we know when we're attacking. The question is, do I even have Ikiclaw come up here? Or do I just have him sit in ambush mode near Quenelle, hoping that somebody will do something stupid? What does the recruitment pool look like? We We could, I suppose, just sit in Quenelle and access the global recruitment pool and update this army slowly. We do have access to some cool stuff. We have more Doom. We could recruit more Doom Flayers, and our Doom Flayers have been very, very good to us. We could pull in more weapons teams. I don't know if this particular army needs more weapons teams. I'll tell you what, I would like to replace these clan rats with Storm Vermin, but Storm Vermin take 4 turns to recruit from the global pool, and we only have 3 slots. Like, that would be a very slow process.
More warpstone. No, no.
Yeah, we'll just we'll make Quenelle look undefended. Extra growth going, and then also I mean, we probably don't need... I guess this structure does produce money, doesn't it? And it's even more growth. Yeah, sure, get me a Rattling Warren. No, never mind. Give me a defensive structure, right? Give me... Okay, we don't have the money for this. Well, that's what that slot should probably be, so we'll just leave it for now.
Corruption.
You're not going anywhere. I guess we're just done. Yeah. I'm a little concerned about this thing with Musallam just dragging on forever and keeping one of our armies pinned in the west. I might try that thing where we recruit and we start a new army in Bordello and just start recruiting and see if that draws them forward to crush the new army before it can build up. Zvamik's ambush chance is pretty high. He's good at the thing he does. Alright, Caron is at war with everybody. Could be an okay thing, honestly. Not necessarily bad for us. The Man-Blight tribe, which is the Bray herd that spawned, is declaring war on everybody around them as well.
Many years to come.
And we've established an undercity in the Shrine of Asurion. Defeat Volnal in battle for a small brief buff. I really wish that the rewards from those quests were a little bit better, because as it is, there's not really any reason to care about them. Alright, let's install some deeper tunnels, and this place is making almost no money, so we'll use the flat money production building. And then, to be perfectly honest, I don't know that we want to put any more money-making stuff in here. I might just start another subterranean pit. The Shrine of Asurion, as a region, is adjacent to, I believe, the entire inside coast. I think that's how the adjacency works. So, that could be really useful.
Science, sorcery, death.
Alright, let's start with, here's the thing I know I'm doing. We're going to try to assassinate that Bretonnian again.
Call me death master.
I am not. I ran out of money. I am too poor to to pay my assassin to do his job. Well, that's a shame. Ooh, Karak Ziflin fell. So actually, Paravon's probably not long for this world. I'm going to step over here and raid for a little while, just for the extra money, and also because it's fun to raid. I don't think they'll be in any position to fight back. Aha, and these guys love it when I trespass against Karak Ziflin. So there's nothing we can really do with A-Rat. We're not going to be able to make any money right this second.
The doom comes.
They'll definitely continue sailing up the coast. Boilerer just stays right here and watches. I mean, this is like a lot of units, right? Waterfall Palace has 13 units in its garrison, plus 13 units here and 17 units there, including Durthu, the giant tree man, who is just absolutely terrifying as a combatant. I think it is unlikely that we could safely attack. We'll raid here. We gotta make some kind of move happen over here. Maybe what we should do is just next turn hire in the Lord and start recruiting. Even if we just make this an army that's like mostly Skaven slaves, just raw numbers can be very helpful, especially against Bretonnians, where like some of their units will legitimately lose to Skaven slaves in melee combat. I'm a little worried about the, the number of Knights of the Realm, though. That could be a problem.
Things fear us.
Yeah, actually, that could really be a problem, huh? Well, nothing for it, I guess, except to use a bunch of Skaven slaves as a wall. So yeah, I guess that's the plan. We'll stay here for another turn. Hope that they decide to come forward. Probably they won't, because they're also cowards. And then next turn we'll start recruiting, and either he will ride forward to try to stop us from recruiting and get killed in the field, or he will let us put together a bunch of Skaven slaves, and then we'll march over there and fight him. Alright, they are trying to damage relations with us in a way that does not benefit them at all. The Empire sure does look militarily powerful. Good thing they're too busy to fight me. Oh, I see heavy black smoke up there. Something military is transpiring. Very, very curious. It could be somebody attacking the Barrow Legion. I think that's about where the smoke was. Yeah. So who would that be?
My minions are restless.
Oh, it could be just about anybody, really. They're at war with all of Bretonnia and also Middenland for some reason. Middenland is an Empire province that's like up here. Ah, yeah, you can see Middenland has this part of the wasteland, while Bretonnia holds the middle and the Empire holds the southern end. That doesn't seem very good for anybody. Really don't want to have that province divided up that way. I guess the Empire's winning because they actually have the port. Okay, so if we were to hire in a new lord, it would probably be a warlock master. And this one is fleet-footed. I don't know that that's necessarily valuable. Because that's what we need to upgrade the workshop next, right? We need a warlock master at level 15, which is non-trivial. Definitely a thing that's going to take a while. But yeah, alright, Bilefitch Stab. He's relatively tough in melee.
Master engineer.
Sit in Bordello, and
Master of scrap.
I mean, we can grab this stuff later. We don't want to do that right now. He can grab in just some guys with spears are going to be important against the cavalry, and then we can also use the global recruitment pool to pull in some stuff that's a little bit fancier for him.
No,
What do his skills lend themselves to? Here, let's see. Looks like he doesn't have a lot of skills that are specifically about any particular type of unit. He likes Doom Flares and Doom Wheels. Weapon teams. Okay. So yeah, I mean, it's not a big surprise that he's very similar to Ikit in that way. Well, to be perfectly honest with you, I would love to recruit some Doom Flayers. 4 turns, man. That's a big commitment. Warp Grinders are probably a bad idea. We could bring in Eshin Triads and stuff. Like, good melee units, not necessarily heavily armored melee units, but honestly, like, this army's going to need spears. It's going to need spears very badly. 1372, so yeah, we really can't afford another one of those. Give me a unit of Clan Rat spears, or yeah, we really have a lot of options here with the amount of money we have. Alright. Let's see if they are drawn to do something by the fact that we are putting together the army that will destroy them. See if they will even recognize that that is what is happening. And at this point, I'm not really sure what to do with Ikit Claw. We have enough points left that we could pursue the blue or red lines probably to their end. So I think last time I was going for Quartermaster into Renowned and Feared on him, which definitely has some value, especially since his army will probably tend to be the most advanced. Yeah, you know what? I think that's a reasonable way to go. His army's not super valuable right now, but obviously we would hope to replace all of these clan rats eventually. So My biggest hope is that the Dwarven army gets drawn out of Paravon somehow.
What?
Although, to be perfectly honest, we might be in a good position to just wander over here and fight them. They don't have very good units. Like, miners are the worst Dwarven infantry unit, in my opinion, but, I mean, they're dwarves. They're still pretty good. Very heavily armored, as you can see there. 36 attack, 33 defense is totally fine. It's not exciting, but it's fine. And then they have some crossbows and some normal dwarf warriors. My big concern here is that fighting dwarves is always costly in terms of just bodies. And then the elf faction we're at war with is a single move away from Paravon. So if we got into a battle where we lost any significant number of dudes, we would immediately be set upon. Hell, even with our stack at full size, they might come after us. They have a lot of guys.
My technocracy.
Ikit Claw can't really go anywhere by himself, I don't think. So we gotta try to draw the dwarves out if we want to fight them. Unfortunately, you're fine where you are. You'll totally do something next turn when we have enough money, or maybe I will spend all my money on other stuff. That's totally possible as well. I don't know exactly how many spear units we have to put together before marching on Musallam. It's a good idea, but I bet they're going to let me do it. My suspicion is that army is living in fear. I mean, if we put together like a half stack here, and then use them as bait, we still might be able to draw Alberic out. And if we can get rid of him, that castle falls like completely trivially. And then somewhere there is still a Bordello settlement, but that is going to have to be a later on kind of problem. A lot of military alliances being negotiated that are not interesting to us at all. Oh, he went for it, the fool. I told you. He sees the weakened new army building up, and he's just like, well, something's got to be done. Yeah, let's take the leadership boost here, right? It gained hammer and anvil, plus 15 attack when fighting at sea. I don't know why that... Okay, listen. My real-world military history knowledge is poor, to say the least. Ah, man, this sucks. I'm gonna not even call on the Broken Nose to help. They're not gonna be able to participate in this at all. My real-world military history knowledge is bad. I thought Hammer and Anvil referred to a strategy of using your infantry to hold an enemy force in place. They are the anvil, and then having your cavalry flank around and hit the enemy force in the back, and those guys are the hammer. I don't know why a trait called that would make you better at fighting at sea. I mean, I guess you could do that at sea. So yes, we did kill a bunch of Bretonnians, and Carrick Ziflin has fallen to the armies of Artois, who just declared war on us. So that's, potentially disheartening. And we get rid of this dude. I would love it if there were fewer enemies watching what is happening with my units. All of a sudden, he can't get anything done. Alright, Vamek has one more skill to gain in this line. Yeah, Radfu can wait. I guess we're gonna grab Death Frenzy first, because Howling Warp Gale is just not all that important of a spell. The extra point in Howling Warp Gale is probably the very last thing we do. Alright, let's run over here and take Musallam. At this point, I bet we can get Bordello to concede. And actually, I don't think I even want Musallam. I think I might burn it down. Like, sack it and then burn it afterward. I'm a little worried that if we auto-resolve this, we're going to get a really crummy outcome. Let's do it manually, just to try to maximize the number of survivors. Because my plan here is we probably sack it for money, then next turn burn it down, because they won't let us burn it down on the same turn that we sack it. If we take it over, it's just going to be a thing that's impossible to defend, and the Artois is going to run over and attack it, and then they're going to be able to take it from us, which means they will get it already built up. If they want it, I want them to have to settle it themselves, because settling a ruined settlement costs a lot of soldiers. You know, the people who are going to live in that settlement have to come from somewhere, right? Okay. So, I think pretty standard moves here. Actually, our strategy is a little bit different with this army because this army does have some elite melee and also has a lot of these sling troops. I'm not 100% sure what the move is. I mean, let's get everybody advancing into the safe zone. These guys, again, do not have any way of actually challenging us. There are strategies that make this not work, but the AI doesn't seem interested in using any of them. Let's have basically the big block of melee just get close to the wall. Part of the problem is that garrisons are not built with enough range troops or good enough siege troops to make this a bad idea. Trying to rotate this group, it's weird. They get stuck. Okay, you know what? Move up and we'll figure it out later. Then you guys, I don't know, we can probably do some version of this where we can actually sling up at the wall. And because the slings are not necessarily direct fire projectiles, we might be able to arc them over the battlements and actually do some damage. Your best to get out of tower angle. Yeah, like that. That'll do. And we don't have quite the same level of warlock nonsense here, but we can certainly drop some lightning bolts. It seems like our sling guys don't actually want to get up on the wall. I mean, or don't want to shoot up onto the wall. I think maybe we could just run them up there, though. I'm going to have the council guard go up first, because they're very tough. And then we can follow up with some other dudes. And we probably want the avalanche mortars to end up like here. Yeah, that's well safe from the tower. I'm curious how much firing up and over they're going to be able to do. Sadly, although we started with a pretty good overall Winds of Magic level, there was not a lot in the globe. A couple units of Clan Rat Spears get in here just to start making trouble because these archers raining fire on my catapults are a problem. Okay, we're doing this thing again where they pretend they can't fire even though they clearly can fire. Try to jiggle them around a little bit, see if that reminds them how their guns work, or how their catapults work, rather. I assume they're relocating this unit of archers to here. I can't imagine any other reason that they would have them running in this direction. Let's have the Death Runners start climbing up the wall behind. There we go. The catapults remembered how to shoot. Well, they're going to make short work of these guys then. Peasant bowmen don't have good morale under the best of circumstances, and these are far from the best of circumstances for them. Plague Mortar's doing what the Plague Mortar needs to do. Yeah, it's nice to have, like, even a very small number of good melee troops makes a huge difference in attacking walls. Storm Vermin with halberds backed up by Death Runners are going to make us kings of their wall very, very quickly, and then all of the sling troops can safely and easily get up on the wall and just rain shots down from there. Even though their shots don't do very much damage, it's still going to add up to a lot because of the fact that there's just so much. Just going to be so much. So I'm going to have them start getting up on the wall immediately. Guys decided that they want to get up. You know what? That's fine. Go ahead and get up on the wall over here. We have control of all the front towers. Right, here's their one unit of decent melee in the area. I guess actually attack those guys. And yeah, geez, look at how much damage the Plague Mortars are doing. They have that fully upgraded ammunition, so it's doing like damage over time and leaving clouds of gross everywhere. That's right. For people who are not master sorcerers, Overcast Warp Lightning is 11 wins. There we go. There it is. Okay. So you can see the Death Runners are a little faster moving. They have lots of swords. And they're very, very good. Remember, they have those Weeping Blades. So not only are they good at piercing enemy armor, they're actually they're removing the enemy armor, so all of our other melee troops are also hitting harder. Putting ranged units up on the walls. This is pretty close to over already. Who would have thought those mortars make a big difference? Yeah, I should just go into melee mode and chop those archers up. We do not need them standing and firing. Apparently they feel comfortable firing even while they're engaged in melee. I guess only some of the army, only some of any unit is engaged in melee at a time, right? So maybe the ones that aren't currently punching can use their slings. I don't really have a lot of experience with the runner type units. In my opinion, they used to be pretty bad. I didn't experiment with them too much, I guess. I wonder if they've been buffed or if I was just wrong about them before. Alright, the spell casting is at least as much about breaking the morale as it is about actually damaging them. I can fire our mini rocket as well. Honestly, he can probably just get up on the wall. You can definitely get up on the wall. Should have our lord up there fighting guys. Yeah, like by the time the fight on the wall is over, any troops that are not on the wall are going to be completely irrelevant. So they should be committing everybody. It's very foolish of them to do anything other than commit absolutely everyone. Those guys get away or recover. Some very careful catapult fire, I assume. I want you just to run in there. We need melee. Okay, so I think we just saw a little bit of a cascade surrender there. They're breaking because they're breaking at this point. I do so love a good cascade. Also, I kind of can't believe how much ammunition these mortar units have. Usually foot-mounted artillery has very little in the way of firing power. You get a couple of good volleys and that's it. But these guys are like, they're not like a full artillery unit, but they're pretty good. Alright, so we're just going to kill as many of them as we can up on the wall, and then obviously we gotta come down here and make this happen. I'm gonna get our Night Runners into hurling positions along the wall. Council Guard have managed to take a significant amount of damage. One thing that's really great about the Council Guard, though, is the extremely high unit count. Usually, high tier... Oh boy, that that was some friendly fire. High tier infantry units tend to not be this large. A full-size unit of Storm Vermin is 160 of them. And so even when they've sustained a considerable amount of damage, you can see they're well under half health in total as a unit, but they're still 130 heavily armored bodies. And remember, at the end of the battle, all of these surviving figures go back to full health immediately. So even if another Bretonnian army shows up and attacks us like right away, we're actually in really good health. Yeah, the army as a whole is ready for another battle. This is kind of why I wanted to do this myself, because I was afraid if we didn't, things would be worse. The auto-resolver, I believe, intentionally underperforms what a human would do, because they want you to play the battles. And I get that. I get where they're coming from, but do you know how many battles there are in one of these campaigns? You just can't play them all. So I think we're going to, like I said, probably sack the place and then burn it. I don't think it's a good idea for us to hold it. Ooh, actually, given the small amount of money, maybe we just burn it and then leave? I don't think I actually care about this money enough to let it pin us in place for an extra turn. Okay, that unfortunately does consume all of your movement for the moment. Let's go talk to Bretonia now and see if we can perhaps negotiate a surrender.
Lord,
What vile filth stands before me?
So the territory they control is over here somewhere in the fog, and they will not accept peace, even though now we are much stronger than they are.
peasants work.
Okay, well, I think they are at this point not really my problem anymore. So we got that done at least. Did I have you do a thing already? Yeah, that was this turn. We might have to pull Ikit Claw back over here to help with some of this stuff. I think that's probably a good idea. It looks to me like the elves are not actually going to do anything. And we'll keep the Plague Engineer in place over here as a scout. Do I wanna just plague some of the Bretonian stuff up north? Try to keep their armies out of the fight. That actually might be a good idea. If we end up losing Quenelle to a push from the Wood Elves, whatever. You know, it's not vital that we hold on to it. Let's see. Here we would build probably a Taskmaster's platform so that we have some chance of holding on to this.
Stink of betrayal strong.
Alright, more growth. Then you guys can probably just continue taking on Skaven Slave Spears. I mean, like, we're going to be fighting horses for a long, long time.
Read Warp Scroll. To land.
I do wish that it would let you move on with your next order while while that movement animation was completing. I'm not sure why it works the way it works. So we definitely don't need the 13th scheme. Honestly, the dominating scheme might be a good idea. That's a thing we could maybe do next turn. And over here at the shrine, my bet is we are going to need murder holes. Well, you can't say that I'm not spending our gold efficiently. We are really using everything. Of course, the moment that we pull away, the elves are going to respond, right? They do have a scout out here. They do know that that settlement appears empty now. In theory, it appeared empty to them for a while before, and they didn't make a move on it because, you know, Ikit Claw was in ambush mode. So hopefully they'll just, again, not make a move on it, but it's hard to know. It's hard to know how much they're cheating, basically, like how much the AI knows where your ambushing armies are, even when it's not supposed to. It certainly wanders into them often enough that the computer may be playing fair with that stuff, but that is exactly the sort of thing that gets cheated in order to make the AI appear to be smart in games where actually making the AI smart would be a problem, right? A problem for in terms of like execution difficulty and stuff. So there's an army of Vashnar's guys marching toward Carrick Ziflin. Are you at war with? You are not at war with Corone, actually. Could we maybe? No chance of a non-aggression pact. I'm just thinking like, hey, we're actually moving toward positive numbers here. Now that we have a lot of common enemies. But man, he really, really does not want to be my friend. Can't imagine why. What is it about the insanely treacherous demon rats that you wouldn't want to be friends with? Also, can you please pull off a successful assassination? Oh, Jesus. Look at Castle Bestalin. Okay, there we go. It was just a normal success, so he's only wounded, but first of all, good to get enemies off the table, and secondly, a successful assassination is worth way more XP, like twice as much. I think I want to just throw my plague right here. I think we want to soften these guys up. Okay, for some reason we gained a follower by doing that. So the settlement itself is the only thing that is currently plagued. Their income's all screwed up, which hopefully will mean they have to divest themselves of some of these units. Their growth is bad, and the plague may spread to local armies and it'll damage them, and hopefully it will damage them enough for it to be relevant. And in the meantime, what exactly do we want to do with Ikiclaw? I kind of want to sail out and grab the money here, but we should probably make sure that we are replenishing. So let's move back into friendly territory, go into ambush mode. Yeah, because we want to make sure this army is capped off again as soon as possible. We can access the sea from the port at Bordello anyway. So our armies are vulnerable to the plague. I think it affects us less, maybe, but it still can be a problem. So we don't want to march directly on Castle Bastogne. We want to let it sort of marinate for a while in all of that gross. So maybe actually I have another turn or two of watching Quenelle ahead of me. 4 turns until we have enough population to upgrade the main settlement, and then 4 turns after that we'll have proper defenses around it. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that is the right move. C4 Call is going to be fine on public order very, very soon. If Artois was going to attack us, they would probably come down through this area. So, I'm guessing it's better for Ikiclaw to be over here. I think that the Wood Elves will be hesitant to attack us because of the fact that they would have to move through dwarf territory, and they might be a little uncomfortable with that. So we'll just lay a trap at Aquitaine here. Alright, we want to make sure that we are still recruiting. So Bilefitch has some units, some useful stuff. I'd really love to get some siege equipment into his army. I think every army should have some, but I just don't want to stand still for that long. I don't want to devote that much recruit time, I should say. We probably are going to end up standing still for 4 turns, but I want to get a lot of good stuff out of doing so. So let's recruit a couple more decent spear units. Maybe we need some ranged in here as well. I mean, like, I know we can't get very good ranged, but we could pull slingers. We could also get poison gutter runners. Those aren't bad. Those come in pretty quickly. They are expensive, though. I'd be able to start recruitment on 2 of those, and then basically nothing else. And the whole point of this army is to just, like, block, basically, right? Just to get in the way. So let's make them... We'll grab 2 units of normal gutter runners. I want the ones that can fire while moving. Yeah, that'll... and then he has access to 2 regiments of renown. Oh, there's 3 regiments of renown available. Well, never mind. I'm gonna unrecruit that. Okay, so we can pull those guys in the turn that we're about to start fighting. It's messy. It's a messy crew. But at this point, numbers may be all that we need. And obviously, over time, we'll continue to improve our income and at some point be able to reform that into a real army, the way that we eventually did with Vomek. Defensive alliance, I think, is probably still a no. To be perfectly honest, not that I'm afraid of the border princes or anything, but we might want to not do anything to upset the border princes any further at this moment, since we went ahead and built that 3rd army and we've committed them to the north. Like, it's going to be really hard for us to defend ourselves in the south right now. I'm going to be reliant on people in the south not declaring war on me, and also on the our allies here just being useful. Hopefully, if hostile armies show up in our southern territories, Araness Assault Spike will come to our aid. Bilefitch Stab. Word has reached your ears that one you thought less treacherous than other lords has stolen from you. An item of great power has come into his possession, and instead of offering it in tribute, he has kept it for himself. Well, he doesn't really need a potion of strength. We will punish in a less subtle way, which for some reason gets us 3,000 money. Right, Rel's gotten his sea legs, which is nice. Are you within reinforcement range of your castle? No, you're not, but it might count as reinforcement range, because sometimes they let you cheat that a little bit. Oh, that's right. I shouldn't do anything this turn. We are recovering from a successful assassination. That's cool. Just hang around over here and be ready to fight. Yes, we finish off Death Frenzy. And then, I mean, there's a lot of yellow line stuff he can take, right? Vomit is almost back to full. I think we pretty much just chill here for one more turn. You know what Vomit can do, actually, is he can sail out and grab this, and then sail back over. From the crow's nest come shouts that broken masts can be seen piercing the ocean's surface. The lookout has spotted a sunken ship lying in the waters amongst some distant shoals. Located far from an inhabited shoreline, not really, or any known sailing routes, it has the markings of a pirate galleon. You know what? We will defeat a foe in battle. I feel confident that we can do that. Yes, this foe is entirely very weak zombies. Yeah, wow, I was expecting to have a battle here that we would actually play out, just so that we could have another battle, but this would just be us overrunning a bunch of garbage melee. Yeah, we'll just auto-resolve that, thanks. Great example of taking more damage than I would have if I had done it manually. Did we pull warp fuel on this? We did not. That's a real shame. Well, you know, it's money and XP, though. So we get all that money, plus we get 10% income everywhere, and also 30 growth in all of our provinces for 6 turns, and also all allies within 40 meters have plus 12 missile parry, as long as they have a shield. Huh. That's interesting. I mean, it definitely helps. We have a lot of, like, clan rats with shields. Just full sail ourselves right back up onto land here. Okay, we'll be nearly back at full health next turn. Definitely still ready to fight. Go ahead and upgrade that, and then we actually have quite a lot of money to play with here. So first of all, let's make sure that we're doing what needs to be done with our undercities. We have 20 extra, 20 extra discoverability to play with. I'm going to expand the mine shafts, I think. Rel is just about in the place where you can start crossing. We're going to start moving away from the coast. So the reason I had him go up the coast instead of following like a more direct line is that you move faster in shallower water. And then I think that's actually it. It's not like a super interesting or productive turn. In a lot of places we're just waiting on stuff. Castle Carcassonne still needs a little bit more public order, but you know what? It's not a big problem. And in most places we're doing really well. Yeah, I mean, if I had money, there's a lot of stuff we could do in Maragliano, right? We could establish a bunch of advanced recruitment buildings and stuff, but just a slow-growing time for the moment. So Bordello doesn't have any slots for anything. Yeah, okay, I think we're just going to maybe hold 2,600 gold. Makes sense? Don't really need upgrades to the Undercities anywhere else. I'm still really hopeful that Eilhart will expand us into Altdorf. You can see Altdorf's port is worth a tremendous amount. Marienburg's getting built up. They're working on it. They could work on it a little bit faster. If we had a little tiny bit more money, I would have fired the dominating scheme there. I guess I could have unbuilt one of the things we were building. I do think we want it running. We have a lot of new settlements, so the big growth bonus would be really helpful. Okay, Bordello was destroyed on the Empire's turns. The Empire finished the war that we started. Something tells me that our long history of fighting Bretonnians together is not going to make us friends. Alright, we've been declared upon by Eben von Liebwitz of Wissenland. I'm not too stressed about that. I don't think he's in a position to actually threaten us at all. This is one of those things where the AI declares war because it likes the idea of being at war more than because it's going to do anything. And it looks like that plague is not spreading to any of those armies. I'm pretty sure if an army gets plagued, you get the little plague icon next to its next to all of its symbols. They're just sitting there in the city, not catching my very good plague that I worked extremely hard on, which is frustrating. Alright, we need hallucinogenics, and then we finally have access to record effective recipes, although maybe we should go grab volatile plans real quick first. Ammunition up for all weapon teams and stuff. Also adds an extra Plague Claw catapult to the Vermintide Undercity building. We're probably actually going to use that, so we'll talk about that at some point. You know what? Yeah, give me volatile plans. Sorry, that doesn't build us toward plans within plans. The whole thing I'm doing here is trying to get us to ultimate experiments before we're fighting the Empire, because let's talk about what this does, just so everybody's clear on the plan. When we go to war with the Empire, we're going to be able to build this building here, the Rat King, which does effectively nothing and increases the discoverability of our Undercity by about 10 billion. Because after we build it, we can then build the Vermintide. It takes 5 turns to put together, and when it is put together, it wipes our Undercity out, but it spawns a Skaven army. And a bunch of our technologies have been slowly giving us increases to the number of units that are spawned by the Vermintide building. Volatile Plans is going to give us a plague, an extra Clan Rat unit. There's something, yeah, here gives us a Plague Claw catapult. And then we're going to get Ultimate Experiments, which converts all of the Clan Rats in that army into Storm Vermin instead. And then when we go to fight the Empire, my plan is we probably will have both Eilhart and Ubersreich build the Vermintide. We'll just rush them real hard. At some point, we're going to have to destroy a bunch of those armies. But this is what we've been building toward, right? And we're creating We're creating small amounts of Skaven corruption in this area so that when we show up, the Menace Below charges will be waiting for us. We have a good long-term plan for fighting the Empire, but we have to get there first. In the meantime, our long-term plan is producing quite a lot of money for us, so it's not like it's a waste. But that's part of the reason that I'm so obsessed with getting to Ultimate Experiments, getting to plans within plans, which requires us to have record effective recipes, because I want to see that work. I think that moment's going to be really cool and fun, and super earned, because we put so much effort into it. But this is all future planning that we're talking about. For now, I think that has to be it for us for today. Thank you so much for watching. We are managing to navigate the difficult position that all of these elves and men are putting us in. Come back next time tomorrow for hopefully an end to it, because I really would like to get on to that Vermintide nonsense. And we'll see you then.